Welcome to the AFR Saints channel, where we provide you daily content on your favorite team, the New Orleans Saints. Do us a favor and hit that subscribe button. Be sure to leave your comments below and smash that like button. Who dat? On Monday, we spent a little bit of time talking about a potential trade for Marshon Lattimore. And the reason we talked about it is we went through the whole timeline and sequence of how the conversation about a possible Lattimore trade came up. And then ultimately, of course, they draft Kool-Aid McKinstry. Right before the draft, Mickey Loomis said point blank that he expected Lattimore to be on the team. And then they draft Kool-Aid McKinstry, and now everyone's wondering, well, are you really going to have him back on the team? And so Loomis was doing a podcast on SiriusXM Mad Dog Radio, and he was asked again about Lattimore and a potential trade.
Look, when a guy's a really good player for your team, they're not on the market per se. But there are times when you get a call and somebody makes a proposal and it might make sense for you. That's true for any player on our team. You know, if you get an offer you can't refuse, you at least have to look at it. And so that's what I would say. I'm not actively trying to trade Marshon. Marshon's such a good player. He's an elite corner. He's had some injuries the last couple of seasons that have kept him, off the field. And, we've got to get over that. It's not his fault. It's just circumstances. And so, that's just where we're at.
And like I said, I believe Mickey Loomis with all of that. I don't think he's actively trying to trade Lattimore. I think if the right offer came, he would trade him. But what kind of has been asked to me is, what would a trade for Lattimore look like? And so I was kind of looking at comparable trades, and then actually this popped up today at Pro Football Network, at PFN. They did a piece up there. I'm trying to give attribution for who wrote this over at PFN. It's Dallas Robinson. Forgive me, I'm not familiar with Dallas Robinson, but he wrote this piece. And it's a handful of post-draft trade proposals they'd like to see, like the Cowboys getting James Conner from the Cardinals, the Ravens getting Juwan Jennings as a receiver for Lamar Jackson, the Raiders shipping Michael Mayer to the Colts. Remember, they drafted Michael Mayer out of Notre Dame a year ago. Well, they got Brock Bowers this year. So do you really need both those tight ends? You understand. Well, one of the trades that they proposed was a trade that would send Marshon Lattimore out of New Orleans. And the way that they phrase it, actually, is Saints dump Marshon Lattimore's contract. And the deal that they propose would send Lattimore to the Raiders, and the Saints would acquire a conditional fifth-round pick that could be upgraded to a fourth based on Lattimore's playing time. So the thing I think that's most important to remember here is whatever you think you're going to get from Marshon Lattimore, and I think fans, so many times when we talk about trades, people think, you think only in terms of what you'd like to get. Hey, could we get a 2 for Marshon Lattimore? Let me ask you this question. If you were on the other side of that trade, would you want your team to give up a 2 for a cornerback that's played in 17 games combined the last 2 years, that in his career has played 1 full season, and oh, by the way, you're acquiring a contract that next year would require you to pay him $31 million or eat $20 million of dead cap money? Would you want to give up a high draft pick for that? Unequivocally not. It's every time we have the conversation about the Saints restructuring deals, every time we talk about this, when you restructure a player's contract, it makes that player virtually untradeable because the contract structure is so bad. When you're trading a player, remember, you're not just trading the player, you're trading the contract. So this would have to be a team that has a really healthy cap situation that could do without or that could eat Lattimore's contract, number one, and also has such a desperate need at cornerback and envisions themselves a contender, a contending team that needs a starting cornerback. And they see Lattimore and go, you know what? We'll eat that contract to get peak Marshon Lattimore. We'll gladly give up a 5 that could become a 4 if he's a great player. But remember, the Bears just got a sack of coffee beans for Justin Fields. I mean, it's a starting quarterback in the NFL. You're not going to get great value in a draft asset for Marshon Lattimore. So your options if you're the Saints really are two. Do you keep Marshon Lattimore on the team this year because you think you're a contender and he could be a great player for you? And so you say, we're gonna take the salary hit this year. We can off-ramp off the deal next year, and we'll get whatever we can out of Lattimore. And if we cut him or trade him next year, so be it. Or do you say, look, he's not going to be with us next year anyway. Anything we can get for him now is better than nothing next year. And that may be the path that they follow. But you'd have to decide, is it really worth taking the hit of not having Lattimore on your team this year for the benefit of a day 3 pick next year? And I think it really comes down to, do you think you're a contender? And if you think you're a contender, does Marshon Lattimore help your team? And the Saints continue to tell us they believe they're a contending team, and yes, they think Lattimore is going to help them. So unless if they get the amazing offer, which that ain't the amazing offer, I think Lattimore's on the team. But we'll see. Hey, thanks so much for watching. Please leave your comments. I love to interact, and be sure to hit the red subscribe button below.